At the Nantucket Data Platform, we look for inspiration wherever we can find it. And we were inspired by this website called nantucketferries.com. What it did was it aggregated two ferry schedules, the schedule for the Steamship Authority and the schedule for the High Line. So you didn't have to switch between differing websites to find out when you should grab the next boat. As you look at this, if you needed a ferry from Hyannis to Nantucket at 2 in the afternoon, there it is. Over on the right, it'll tell you, take the steamship. If you miss that, you can go at 2:25, but jump on the High Line. And this inspired me to talk to our data team as to whether or not we could take all the data we were learning about Nantucket in 2017 and aggregated it into one visualization. And it would include origin and destination for visitors. It would include real airline traffic and the schedule for ferries, as well as mobility data, starting to see how people moved around Nantucket and how Nantucket got busier during the day. And so the data team ended up grabbing real data from the 4 Saturdays in July, averaging it out, and building one visualization, which we call a Saturday in July. And I'm going to walk you through it. Just to orient you, we're starting with a focused view on downtown Nantucket. On the upper right, you can see it's about 5:30 in the morning. The blue arrow represents people who are departing, and the green arrow represents people who are arriving on the island. And obviously below is the total population from early in the morning, and we're going to bring you to early afternoon. So as the day starts to wake up, it's about 5:45 in the morning now. You can see the ferry at about 6:30. You'll see it pop up, and it'll depart. It'll take about 343 people with it. And by 7:20, we've got the first ferry arrival of the day, a High Line that left Hyannis at about 6:20. And the island's starting to get busier. You can see with this mobility data is represented by red dots. At 8 in the morning, we can zoom out and we can see downtown and Mid-Island is pretty busy. But the South Shore beaches are not too busy yet. And also look at Siasconset out on the east, on the right side of your visualization. Not too much activity yet, but we're going to check back in just a couple hours. You're also starting to see planes arriving and departing. And if we zoom out, you're going to see what you sort of know intuitively, which is people are coming from all over the country. The blue lines represent where people are going to when they leave on this Saturday morning. The West Coast, San Francisco, LA, Santa Barbara, down through Texas. Florida's quite busy, and obviously the East Coast is busy. If we zoom in, you'll see a lot of plane activity in Boston or New York, but focus on Nantucket. Look at the ferries that are leaving Nantucket, and look at the ferries coming from Cape Cod, from Hyannis. There's an armada out there, bringing people to Nantucket and taking people off the island. And by about noon, you start to get a feel for how the island is becoming quite busy. Again, the mobility data starts to be more dense downtown and in Mid-Island. South Shore beaches are getting quite active, much denser than they were at even 8 in the morning. And Siasconset has probably tripled its activity over there on the right or the east side of the island. If we played this out until the end of the day, you'd see about 19,000 people who either arrived or departed the island, with a net increase in the population of just over 3,000 people. And it's really critical to understand what this data is telling us about where people are coming from, where they're going to, how they're moving about the island, so the island can plan appropriate infrastructure and services to meet the needs not just of the year-rounders, but also those folks who find themselves on the island any day of the year. Thanks for watching.